All right. So the first thing I want to do is highlight some resources that are available to you guys if you're ever running into issues or you have questions, etc. So if you just go to MatBoss.com, kind of to our main marketing webpage, at the top of the screen, there's a help section up in the upper right. In that help section, we have a number of resources that are available to you guys. And I just want to highlight a couple of these. So the first thing is obviously the customer training. You guys are all on the training, so you know how to find it and get into these trainings. We're doing these trainings twice a week through the rest of the month. So if there's other folks on your team that you want to join, definitely go ahead and have them join. We're also putting recordings of all these trainings up on this page. So if you want to go back and reference one or rewatch one or send a video to somebody else, definitely come here to do that. The next thing here is a season setup checklist. And so if I click on that, you'll see there's a printable version of some kind of helpful tips and tricks for getting started for the year. It goes through some things that I'll demonstrate on the call today, but a couple of key things you want to make sure that you do is make sure that you have your devices figured out for the season. Like get your iPads together. What you want to do is make sure that you have the latest version of MatBoss from the App Store installed on all your devices. What you don't want to do is go to the first event and realize like you have an old version that's been outdated on your devices and things like that. So make sure you go and get the latest version of MatBoss installed on all your recording devices. We're on version 10.2 right now. We're probably going to have another release in the next week or two, but you just want to always try and stay current on the latest version of MatBoss because either we're implementing new enhancements to the platform or we are fixing some bugs and things like that. So it's always important to stay on the latest version. If you're using Track Wrestling or USA Bracketing, MatBoss integrates with both those systems, and so you want to make sure that if you plan to import your roster or import your schedule from one of those systems, step one is going into those systems, building your roster out, building your schedule out, and then those things can be imported into your MatBoss account. And I'll show you how to do this on this call. One question we've gotten from a number of coaches that have switched over to USA Bracketing. And again, the states that have gone to USA Bracketing are Minnesota, Wisconsin, Ohio, Indiana, and Alaska are all using USA Bracketing this year. We've had some coaches reach out and say, hey, I clicked on import to import my roster from USA Bracketing, but no names are coming across. When we go and look at their teams in USA Bracketing, we're seeing that those wrestlers are marked as ineligible because they haven't gone through the weight certification. So the wrestlers aren't going to come over on the import until they've been made eligible in those systems.
Hey,
So definitely,
Jeremy,
yeah,
just a quick clarifier. Somebody's wondering what is bracketing. Just
sure.
if you want to
Yeah,
touch on that a little bit, that'd be great.
for sure. Great. I'm glad somebody brought it up. So, USA Wrestling, the organization, has created a system like Track Wrestling that's used to manage tournaments, to manage weight certification, to do year-end seating, to be a repository for results for a state. Most states are still using track wrestling for that. However, those 5 states that I called up before have said we're no longer using track wrestling. We're going to now use USA bracketing as the system for that. So those states have switched over and now are using USA's wrestling of track wrestling, basically. I hope that answered it. Um, but anyways, you want to make sure that your wrestlers are eligible to be able to be imported into the system. It looks like St. Mary's turned their camera on for a second. It was nice to see some faces there. You guys can leave it on if you want. It's up to you. Okay. So anyways, this checklist is a great resource. I'd encourage you guys to print that out, go through, and kind of check off the things that you've done, that you've confirmed as you go through that. We also have a knowledge base that's available. So the knowledge base allows you to search on different topics and different areas of the app. So an example could be, maybe your IT professionals come up and said, "Hey, is there whitelist information for the network that we need?" And so you could come in here and type in whitelist, for example, and then you'll have an article that has all the information that you need. So there's training videos and things available from this knowledge base within MatBoss. And then the last thing is support tickets. So we try and provide really good customer support. So anytime you guys are having problems, click on the support ticket and send us a ticket. We'll jump on it, we'll respond back, or we'll give you a call and call you back if you need help in any way. At the bottom of the support ticket form is also our phone number. So if you ever want to talk to somebody and you need help immediately, call us at this 866-509-BOSS phone number, and we can help you out right away. We staff this call center from 8 a.m. till 6 p.m. Monday through Friday. That's Central Time. And then we also staff it from 8 a.m. till noon on Saturdays during the wrestling season. So if you're at a tournament, you're having problems, call that number and you can talk to one of us to get the issue resolved. And then lastly, the last item here before I start digging into the app and showing some things is tutorials. So in tutorials, we have a bunch of like 1 to 3 minute how-to videos that you can click on and watch on a number of different topics. And this is also a great resource to learn how to use the app, etc.
Hey, Jeremy, I got a question.
Yeah.
This goes, maybe you're going to talk about it. Already has a 25, 20, this year's 25, 26. My team is already on it, listed, like some of the members that were in it past years, but the
Yep.
grades are not updated. So once I import it from track wrestling, will that change the grading? Would it update the gradings on the kids?
It will. Yep. When you import that, when you use the import, it'll update the grades of all those wrestlers.
All right, thanks. Mhm.
Yep. Yeah, good question. Okay, so definitely use these resources. And of course, like I always reach out if there's something we can help with, or if you're stuck or having problems and things like that. We love hearing from you guys and we love to help. So definitely reach out. All right, I'm going to jump into an account here. Okay. So when you log into MatBoss this year, and I'm right now what I'm showing is logging in from the website. What you'll notice is the website looks different. So for returning customers, you'll notice the website looks different. What we've done is we've made the website and the app on the iPads look and act exactly the same. And the reason that that's important is now if you learn how to do something in MatBoss, you know how to do it whether you're on the app or you're on the website, etc. So that's why if you log in, it'll look different. When you log in, what you'll see is you'll see your team name up in the upper left. You'll see the type of account that it is. So this is a high school boys account. And then you'll notice the seasons here available. So when you log into the current, you'll default to the current season. So you should see 25, 26 up here in the left-hand side. For returning customers, if you want to go back and watch old video or look at stats from previous seasons, all you have to do is click on this year and you can select a different year from the drop down and be able to dive into those seasons, look at those videos, look at those stats. MatBoss never gets rid of old video and statistics. We have teams that have been with us since 2014 and they can still go back and watch those videos in the account, etc. So that's how you navigate between different years and different seasons in that way. When you log into your 25 for the first time this year, you'll notice you'll have the 25, 26 up here, and your scorebooks will probably be empty. Okay, because no events have been created in this account yet. Your roster will have the roster from last year, as Coach Morales had mentioned. Now, one thing coaches say is, hey, I got wrestlers on this roster that are no longer on the team, and I want to clean those up. An easy way to clean those up is just from the roster page, you could click on an athlete, change their level right here to former, and then save that athlete. And now that athlete will be moved from your current active roster into your former roster. So all the former wrestlers will be listed here from past seasons and things like that. We don't allow people to hard delete wrestlers or wrestler roster entries if that roster entry has matches in it. If it's somebody that came out for the team, they never wrestled, you can go in and delete that roster entry. But if the person has matches from any season in MatBoss, you can't delete them because if we allowed you to delete those wrestlers, now you'd have orphan matches, orphan video, dual meet scores that don't make sense, etc. So if you want to get somebody off of your roster, change their level to former and they'll be moved off of your roster. Okay. Um, Coach Morales asked about importing. So in settings, you'll see that if you click on settings on the left-hand side, there's a link here for track wrestling and for USA bracketing. Okay. You want to make sure that your team, if depending on what state you're in, you want to make sure that your team is linked up, that you're linking your MatBoss account with that team in either track wrestling or USA bracketing. So if you click on track wrestling, you could come here, make sure that your state's correct, and then you'll have a drop down to be able to pick your team here. And then you just save it. And now your MatBoss account is linked with that team in track wrestling or that team in USA bracketing. Why that's important is if you click on roster, up at the very top, there's an import button. If you click on that import button, we are going to go and for either system, we're going to go grab the names that are listed in that system. And we're going to try and auto match those names with the names that are already on your MatBoss roster. Okay. So if a name is already on the MatBoss roster, it'll look something like this, like Braden Barrett matches your MatBoss roster of Braden Barrett. So that's good. If there's a new wrestler that's joined, let's say there's a freshman, you would do the create new wrestler and be able to create a new entry for that roster. And then you basically just click import. In the next step of the import, it's going to show you all these names that aren't coming from either USA bracketing or track wrestling. And these are names that are in your MatBoss account, but they're not in one of those systems, which means those people have probably graduated. They've either graduated or quit. So at that point, you can click and mark those folks as no longer on the team, and they'll automatically be moved to a former wrestler status. And once you've done that, your roster should be clean and look good and things like that. And obviously, you can go and manually update the roster if something doesn't look right. You can also add wrestlers manually if you want to by clicking the plus button in the lower right. And then you can just add their first name, last name, the level they typically compete at, and the weight class they typically compete at, and their grade level. Save it, and you can manually create entries on your roster. You only have to do this once. So like you can do it once on your computer, and then once that's synced and in our on our servers, when you open the iPads and those connect to the internet, those will pull down that roster. So you don't have to re-import the roster on every one of those devices. If it's been done once on one of the devices or on the website, then all of the devices will pull down that same roster.
Hey, Jeremy, what about if I have duplicates of the kids?
Yep. If you have duplicates, um, we created a way that you can merge those athlete profiles together on your own. In the past with MatBoss, you had to reach out to us and we had to like merge those athletes together because sometimes what'll happen is a manager will not have the iPad sync before they go to the tournament. Then they'll go to the tournament, there's no Wi-Fi at the tournament, and then they'll look at the roster and there's names missing. So then they'll go on and add another wrestler to it, and that wrestler is already on the server, but the device hadn't connected to the server, and they'll create another wrestler. So now you'll have two duplicates, and that both roster entries will have matches under it. So you can't just like delete one. You have to merge those together. So the way that you would do that is you would click on that wrestler name in the roster. At the top now there's a function called merge wrestler. If you click on that, you can now if that wrestler had matches, maybe let me click one that has matches. You could click on that wrestler and then you can merge it with the same wrestler profile that's there. And then we'll combine those profiles together, put all the matches together, and then you won't have duplicates anymore.
So on our rosters, we've got a little league and middle school. Last year it got super cluttered when
Mhm.
we try to change our which kid was wrestling where.
Mhm.
It just like you just keep scrolling. Is there a way to when we're on the high school scorebook, whenever like we're in the match itself, to not have every one of those kids pop up, only have our high school?
Yeah, good question. Right now there isn't. And the reason we don't limit it based on the level that they're listed on the roster is we know there's instances where you're going to take like a JV kid and bump him up to varsity and you want to be able to select his name because he's moved up and he's wrestling tonight and things like that. So unfortunately, right now you'd probably have to get all those you'd have to go through all those names. Now, one thing that MatBoss does is when you build new matches in an event, we look at who is varsity, who's 103. And when you create a match at 103, we're going to try and auto-populate that name in that match. So if you went through and you marked all your varsity wrestlers and there was one at each weight, when you create those weights in a varsity match, it'll auto-populate that person. So you won't have to go through and like find all those names, if that makes sense. Obviously, if you switched or you bump somebody or something like that, you can always change it, but we'll try and pre-populate it based on the roster.
All right, that helps.
Okay. All right. Any questions on roster setup or roster management? My big coaching point is do this early in the season, get this right, get this clean, and then have the devices sync and pull down the latest so that all the devices have the updated roster. Okay, let's talk about events. Hi, did somebody have a question?
Yeah. How do you unadd a senior from last year?
When you say unadd, like remove them from your roster?
Yeah.
On the roster, if you can see where I'm looking, all you have to do is select the level here on the drop down and then choose former status and then save it and it'll move them as graduated. Now they're a former wrestler.
Thank you.
Okay, no problem. Thanks for asking. Okay, let's talk about events. So your scorebooks are going to be empty when you first log in. There's no events in this season until you either add them manually, and you can add events manually by clicking the plus button. You can figure out what type of event it is. You can either make a dual meet, a tournament, or you can make a multi-dual event. So creation of multi-dual events is a new feature in MatBoss this year, but multi-dual events are quads, tries, or dual team tournaments, right? So you're basically creating a parent event of like the MatBoss quad, and then you would build the dual meets underneath that parent event. And so that would be a multi-dual event. Or you can import them. If they've been built into Track Wrestling or USA Bracketing, when you click import, you'll see the events that are here assigned to your team, and you can click those events and import them into your schedule. Okay. And you can do this as many times as you want. Okay, so like if your schedule changes and it's been updated in Track Wrestling or USA Bracketing, just click that import again and you can bring those in. And again, you don't have to build those events on every single device. You just have to bring those into your account once, make sure that's synced with the internet, and then all your devices should have those events on the device. Navigating between scorebooks. This one, I think we get a little bit of confusion around this, so I want to make sure that this is clear. So MatBoss comes with 3 scorebooks, 3 stat keeping scorebooks, okay? And you can name these scorebooks whatever you'd like, and you can modify the weights underneath each one of these scorebooks. So in this account, the scorebooks are called varsity, junior varsity, and middle school. MatBoss also comes with a practice scorebook. And the practice scorebook is a great place for you guys to practice creating events, practice filming, practice uploading, use it in the room, have the managers get used to it, film in there, use it to get really good at MatBoss because anything you do in the practice scorebook doesn't roll up to your team's stats. And so you're not going to break anything in the practice scorebook. And it's the perfect place to play around with the app, try things, record, etc. A lot of coaches also like to record the wrestle-offs in the practice scorebook. So they have they don't want those wrestle-offs to count as stats, but they might want a video record and be able to pull up those wrestle-offs and be able to go back to them if there was a question by the administration or parents and things like that. They have a video record of that. MatBoss also comes with the Scout Scorebook. The Scout Scorebook is used to capture film on wrestlers that your team isn't competing against. So you don't generate stats out of the scout scorebook, but let's say your team is gonna wrestle a kid that's at a tournament. You're not wrestling them today, but maybe you're wrestling them in the future, and you want to get some film on that athlete. You could go over, use that scout scorebook, get some film, store that film, and then now you have it to be able to reference and scout in the future. Not every state allows that, so make sure you understand your state rules before you start doing some of that. And then lastly, a new feature for returning customers is we've added a freestyle and Greco scorebook to every account. That freestyle and Greco scorebook is a great place to record your athletes off season. If they're wrestling in freestyle or Greco matches, etc. When you create events in that freestyle and Greco scorebook, you'll have the freestyle scoring events available and you're scoring in freestyle. And then you can generate freestyle stats and reports and things like that that you can use for any off-season matches. If you want to update these scorebooks, what you want to do is click on settings on the left. And then there's a tab here called scorebook. In this scorebook, you can see there's a custom name for each of these scorebooks that you can update to call these scorebooks and organize the scorebooks whatever you'd like. So that could be boys varsity, boys junior varsity, girls, you know, gold varsity, blue varsity. You can name them whatever you want to. Okay. And then you can also modify the weights underneath each of these scorebooks. So an example of why you might want to change those weights under these scorebooks is if you did varsity boys, junior varsity boys, and then girls, well, the girls' weight classes may be different than the boys' weight classes. So you'd want to come in here and modify these weight classes to match the girls' weight classes so that when you create an event in that girls' scorebook and you create matches, you're using those girls' weights instead of the boys' weights for those matches. So go and update these one time, save the changes at the bottom, and then once those are saved across the account, they all, that would replicate across the devices that are logged into that account. Any questions on that? On events, importing, navigating between scorebooks, customizing scorebooks, anything like that? Okay. So my biggest thing is to start the season, get the roster right and get your schedule right. Get everything organized and make it so it represents what the season's going to look like and you have everything kind of set up and do it in one spot and then get that synced across all of the devices that you use. Um, if you do that correctly, you get your roster and your schedule right, the rest of your season should be easier as you start recording and going to events and things like that. Okay. I'm gonna jump into some features and video and reviewing film and things like that. And then I'm gonna go to show how to record and score and things like that.
Hey, Jeremy, before you move on, Randy's got a question.
Okay. Hey, Randy.
Wrestling across states, just change the weights to match that state, or can you alter the weights per event?
Awesome. That's a fantastic question. Thank you, Randy. So one feature that you can do is if you're in the scorebook and you're like, hey, we're a Minnesota team. Next weekend, we're going to Wisconsin and we're using the Wisconsin weights. You would come into this scorebook. You can click this reset button and you can select the state that you're going to. So I could select Wisconsin and you can see all these weights have been updated to match Wisconsin's weights. Save it. And now once your iPad sync, they'll have all those Wisconsin weights. Then you come back from the tournament, come back in here and reset them back to Minnesota and save it. Does that make sense?
Yeah, I think we're good. There's another question that came in. We're
Okay.
trying to make a match on our iPad and it shuts the app down even though we're fully uploaded. How do we fix that?
I think the first question I would have is, why don't we get the information? I'll call the team back and look at it specifically so we're not doing tech support here. But I think the question I would have is, do they have the latest version of MatBoss installed on the device? And then also, is there enough available storage and space on the device, or is the device completely maxed out with like it's full basically? But Eric, if you can grab the team and the coach or whatever, I'll call and look at that specifically.
Okay, sounds good.
Okay. Anything else before I move on?
Is there an option for girls' weights? Like to,
There isn't an option because the account is set up as a boys account, it's always
okay,
going to default to the boys accounts or boys weights. If you had a girls account, it would default to the girls weights. If you're running your girls out of your boys account, that's perfectly fine. We have a lot of teams that do it. It's just there's a little bit more manual work. Like if you're changing one of these to the girls, you got to go in and manually update them.
okay, thank you.
Yep. Okay. All right. I'm going to move. So to show some of the video stuff and some new features around that, I'm going to move to 24-25 last season so we can look at that. Okay. So reviewing video, there's a couple different ways to get to your video. Obviously, one obvious way is find the event that you want to look at, click into that event, and then find the match that you want to watch like this. Obviously, you can see the dual score here. You can see the list of all the matches, and you could just click into one of those matches. I'm going to find one that has a lot of scoring. And you could click in and watch one of these matches. If it seems choppy when I'm playing it, it's clear to me right now, but because I'm streaming this through Zoom, it might not be super clear. But you can just start playing the video. Now, a couple things about watching video in MatBoss that I want to make sure teams are aware of. The first thing is if you're trying to get to a specific spot in the match, you don't have to grab this scrubber bar and try and pull it forward and find the spot that you're looking at. The easiest way to navigate around the video is to just click on the scoring event that you want to see. And we're going to take you to that spot in the video ahead about 8 seconds so that you can see the setup of that into the video. So let's say that I want to see this takedown, the second takedown in the third period. Instead of grabbing the scrubber bar and pulling it forward and trying to be like, oh, I think this is where it was, all I have to do is click on that takedown on the timeline, and it's going to take me to that spot of where the takedown was. And again, it's going to be about 8 seconds before the manager hit that button so you can see the setup and things like that. If I wanted to see another one, maybe I'll go back to the first period and click on this takedown. I can click on this takedown and get to that spot and be able to watch it. And you can continue to just click on that if you want to see it again. You know, it's a good way to just hit repeat, watch it again, etc. You can also watch this stuff in slow motion or in fast speed if you'd like. On the lower left of the video, there's this 1x right here. If you click on the 1x, you can take the video down to like 20, all the way down to 25% speed, or you can go to 2x speed. But if I go to 25% speed, you can see we're in slow motion. I can click on this takedown here and be able to kind of dive in and analyze the video, etc. Another feature here is, and this is a new feature this year for returning customers, is coaches and wrestlers can put in match notes against each match. So on the right side, lower right side of the video, there's a text bubble icon here. If you click on that text bubble icon, you can put in notes for the match. So you could say like, you know, great job, need to keep working on your outside single. Or whatever, you know, whatever you guys have identified as part of the match. The wrestlers can also come in here and put their own comments. So they could say, you know, agree, coach, I need a better setup or something like that. So it's a way for coaches and wrestlers to collaborate on the video
Hey,
as
Jared,
they're
I'm
watching
sorry,
it.
Jared, is that when you do the text, is that a live thing or they will see it every time they watch their match?
They will see it if they watch the match and they click on that text bubble. These match notes will come up and they can read them and look at them and respond, etc.
Would it be like a message like, you know, we get on our phones, it'll say you have a message there or
Yeah, that's where we're gonna go with this. So that's why we built like a new messaging system this year that I'll show you. But right now it doesn't send a message to the wrestler that the coach has put a note out. But where you will see it is on this event, let me just refresh it here. So on this event, on this match where there's
Yeah,
a
yeah,
note,
yeah. That's cool.
if you look underneath the status column, you can
Hmm.
see there's notes on this match.
Oh, I like that. All right.
So then if the wrestler clicked on it, they're like, oh, coach has notes on here. They click on this, and they can see the notes right there.
Right. All right.
Hey,
Nice.
Yeah,
I like that feature. Cool.
thank you. Yeah, thank you.
hey,
Um,
Jeremy,
yeah,
real quick, hold on one second. Never mind.
okay, no worries.
Move on. Thank you.
Another video feature that you have available is the ability to telestrate, or almost like John Madden telestrate on the video. So that's next to the text bubble. There's this little pencil icon. If you click on that pencil icon, the video is going to freeze on that frame and you'll have drawing tools available to you. So you could come here and, uh, you could draw an arrow and say, or a circle or whatever, and you could put some text on the video, something like, in this instance, maybe he's getting too high on that ride. So, um, I'll just say too high on the ride, save it. And now if I save these drawings, what you'll notice is there is a pencil icon on the timeline showing that there's some drawings on the video. And now if we go back and watch this, let me hit play again. What's going to happen is when we get to this spot in the video is going to pause so you and the wrestlers can see those drawings. It'll pause for a couple seconds and then it'll carry on. So let's see if we can get to that spot here. I don't know exactly where it was. I think we're getting to it right now. Yeah. So there you can see the drawings come up. It pauses the video for a couple seconds and then it carries on. So you could put telestrations across the video in that way to kind of get your point across. I've been looking at some coaches that have been using this. Some coaches are just putting drawings on the video, and then on the match notes, they're going in where I put the circle in the first period. This is what's happening. Make sure you keep your head up, whatever. So you guys can use these tools as coaching tools to start getting points across to your wrestlers on ways to improve, etc. Any questions on that?
I think I have one, but I think you might go into it later. Once the kids watch their own videos, would those icons be there for them to make a suggestion or something like that? Or it's just,
Oh,
or they don't have that access. Only the coaches have it.
that's a great question. And to be honest, I should know this and I can't remember right now. I'll have to go back and double check that.
All right.
I can't remember if wrestlers can draw or not. Wrestlers can definitely do match notes. I don't know right now if they can draw on it or not. So let me jot that down. Or maybe Eric, if you can capture that as a question for me.
No problem.
Okay, thank you. Um, okay, a lot of managers on this call. Let's talk about fixing scoring. So there's kind of two things you can do in terms of fixing scoring. Okay. The first one is if you just need to fix like one or two scoring events, all you have to do is click on this edit mode to the right of the timeline. And then you'll notice all the scoring events are highlighted in yellow. So if you need to fix one of these, so let's say in this first period, we mark this as an escape, but it's actually a reversal. You can just click on that scoring event and then change that score from a escape to a reversal, save it, and now the score's been updated, the stats have been updated, everything's fixed on that match. That's really easy if there's just like one or two things you have to fix in terms of the scoring. If the scoring's completely messed up on the match, or if you guys got the video, you uploaded the video, but there's no scoring or the scoring's so bad you just like want to start over. We created an easy way in MatBoss this year, and this is a new feature that you can use, which is called rescore match. So there's two ways to get to this rescore match. One way is click on the edit mode, and there's a tab here to rescore match. Or if you come up to the more at the top of this match, you'll have the rescore match function right here also. In order to do this rescore match, the video has to be uploaded. So first get the video uploaded, and then you can go fix the scoring. So let's say the scoring on this match was completely messed up, and I'm going to do yes, rescore match. What's going to happen is we are going to play the video, but you're going to have the scoring interface almost like you're recording the match, Matt side right now, and now you can just start scoring the match, right? So we got a takedown there, mark the takedown. Let's say they get an escape, you mark the escape, and you can basically just go through and rescore the entire match, including next period, etc. So that this should make, if the scoring's completely messed up, it shouldn't be as laborious of a process. Just do the full rescore after the video's been uploaded and go and rescore the match like this. When you're done, make sure you click the save at the top, and then all the stats, scoring, dual score, etc. will be updated for the match.
Jeremy, question that came in. How do you do the rescore match again?
Okay, so I'm in a match. I'll go ahead and play it. You can either at the top of the screen, there's a more, click on that and then select rescore match. Or you can click edit mode in the timeline to get it into like an editing mode for the scoring and then click the rescore match tab. It's going to ask you to confirm that yes, you want to rescore it. And then you'll be in we'll replay the video and have the scoring interface up and you can just rescore it in that way. To do this full rescore match, though, the video has to be uploaded before you can do it. So if you're at a tournament, you're like, man, the scoring is so messed up on this. Get back, get home, get the video uploaded to us. Then when you're looking at the computer, click that rescore match and you can rescore the full match.
You
Any
can
questions?
you can do that on the iPad or the iPhone though, right?
You can. Yep. Yep.
And then
It's available anywhere.
and if you happen to have gotten a recording where you weren't able to score it at all, is that just you just find the match in your event?
Yep. Find the match in your event. It'll probably say 0-0. There'll be no scoring. And then just click into it, go to the rescore event, and you could rescore the whole match right there.
Cool.
Yeah, it should be a lot easier. In the past, it's been a real pain for coaches to have to like rescore a match, editing each one, adding each one, etc. So this should make it way easier to completely rescore a match if something's not right. And as soon as you save it, all the stats and everything will be updated across the account.
Jeremy, with the scoring,
Yep.
with high school, if it's tie score, do we have the 1 minute overtime for us in Jersey? It's like 1 minute overtime, and then
Yep.
we go two 30-second periods, top bottom, and then we have ultimate tiebreaker. Well, is that added? Is that we still have that feature?
You do. Yeah, we do. We do have a bug right now that we're going to fix in the next release, like within the next week, where Ultimate Tiebreaker isn't available in the app.
Mm.
So we're gonna fix that. We're gonna it'll be in the next release. But right now, if between when we release that and you update, if you have a match that goes to Ultimate Tiebreaker, just put the final scoring event in that third overtime to score the match.
Okay, thanks.
Yep. You guys are fantastic. I love all these questions. All right, highlights. So when you're looking at a match, wrestlers and coaches can do this. But if there's a spot where you want to capture a highlight, so let's say this takedown we're like, man, that's a fantastic takedown. You can click on the star that's to the right of that pencil. You could put in a description, so I'll say low single. And then we're going to mark a start time and an end time. We're going to default to a 10-second highlight clip. If you don't want it to be that long, you can come in here and modify that to 9 seconds or whatever. And then if you click save, what you'll notice is now there's a highlight mark on the timeline indicated by the purple star. You can click on that highlight and then get right to that highlight if you want. And then as coaches, you can come in here and you can create a highlight clip order. So if you go to matches and you click on highlights at the top, a list of all those highlights will be here and available to you. And then you can select those highlights, put in a clip order, and what MatBoss is going to do is we're going to go into all those big files we're going to just cut out the highlights and we're going to send you a zip file of those highlights that then you guys can use to put into your own highlight video, etc. MatBoss currently doesn't like allow you to like put the highlights together and overlay music over the top and have transitions and things like that. That's on a roadmap that we're going to build in the future. But right now, we get you kind of halfway there. We allow you to mark the highlights or wrestlers mark the highlights, and then we'll go cut all those highlights out of the big video files and send you those snidbits of video files. Then you guys can work with a video editing person or something that can like put those into a highlight video if you want.
Yeah.
So
Yes, Jeremy did. I just want to say, yeah, those highlights I've done in the past,
Yep.
and it's great. It's a great. I love it. And then I just like I said, we just give it to your media person, and then they can put everything together, music and everything. It's a pretty cool feature. I really like it.
Yeah, I think.
I,
Thank you.
I'm
Go
I'm
ahead.
very excited about it I've been doing videography for our team for several years and just doing the recording and then making those available. So the idea that I can go in and is the time length, is that open ended? It's not limited to like 10 seconds.
Yeah, it's open-ended. It's just
Cool.
a matter of you finding the kind of where you want to start and stop it, and
Right.
then making sure you have that clip.
Yeah, and then
Where,
what I do a lot of times is I speed ramp. Some of the like there's a setup that you want to capture, and then it's boring for a little bit, and then it kind of finishes. So having the ability to make those longer clips and stuff, I'm very excited about how this is going to make that process easier this year than doing all the recording and clipping myself. So
Perfect. Good. Yeah, and so once you submit a clip order, usually within a couple hours, we'll have cut those clips out of the video and we've sent you the zip file for you to be able to reference. And if you ever want to see or you want to be able to go back and get, find those clips, where is that at? Sorry. Oh, highlight orders. So in settings, there's a highlight orders here, and you'd be able to see all of your old, you could re-download those clips after we've clipped them. So your history of they sit out here in settings, highlight orders, and you can always go back and, re-download those, etc. if you want to.
I'm
A lot.
assuming if we're concerned about sort of highlight video quality, I'm assuming then recording at the 1080 HD is kind of your best happy medium.
Yeah, I think it is. The thing you got to be conscious of though is obviously those are bigger files being stored on the iPad. So if you're at a big tournament, you want to make sure that you're not filling up the iPad and running out of storage on the device before you upload.
Right. That leads me to another question around conventions. Is it better to use one account across multiple iPads, or have a dedicated account per iPad, or have an account per person recording using the like per manager?
I believe the best way to handle this is you can use the same login across multiple devices. So I would find a coach's ID and log into all of the iPads with that coach's ID, and then just
Yeah.
keep those iPads logged in as that.
Okay.
You don't really want to get into logging in and logging out of the app on a regular basis, because if you've recorded a bunch of video and taken stats and that stuff hasn't been uploaded or connected to the internet, and then you log out, you're at risk of losing that information.
Is
So
there any Is there any value? I definitely understand that. Is there any value in having an account per iPad? Is there situations that you've run across where it would help to know that, oh, well, this was recorded on this iPad versus that iPad kind of thing?
no, not in terms of a login. We're capturing a device ID.
Okay.
So we can say like, hey, it looks like there's 4 videos that haven't been uploaded yet, and they're on an iPad mini that's running iOS, blah, 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 blah.
Okay,
Right. So
cool.
we can help identify that from the information that we have.
So
Uh,
maybe like one device, one iPad account, and then the coaches would have their accounts they use on their computers or whatever.
exactly. Yep. Yep.
Cool. All right. Well, that makes sense.
Yep. That's,
Hey,
I think
Jeremy, I'm
that's
going to
great,
break
right?
in again.
Yeah.
Can you please go through the process for doing the highlight orders again?
Yeah. So what a lot of coaches do is when they get to the end of the season, let me go back to last season. So what a lot of coaches will do is they'll tell the wrestlers at the end of the season, "Hey guys, we're going to put a highlight video together at the, for the year-end banquet. I want every one of you guys to go in and mark your highlights." So wrestlers will go in and watch their videos, and then they'll go and say like, "Oh man, this was a great takedown. I loved it. I'd love if this was the highlight video." They'll click the star. They'll put in, uh, I'll just say great takedown is the name of that clip. And then they'll put the start and end time of the clip. When I hit the star, that's the start time. And then you just figure out how long you want that to go. We defaulted to 10 seconds. So let's say this was 7 seconds. And then they'll click save. Now you'll have a highlight that's been marked in the account. If you go to the matches tab, there's a highlight section here in matches that shows all of the different highlights across different events, different wrestlers, etc. So you can always click in and watch those highlights, etc. It'll take you right to that highlight spot. And you can always click on that highlight in the timeline and be taken right to that highlight. And then you can click on the highlights that you want, like this. Let's say I want those 4, and then submit a highlight order. And then we're going to go into the big files. We're going to clip that highlight out of that big video, and we're going to send you a zip file of those clippings. Did that answer the question?
It did. Thank you.
Okay. Awesome. All right. I want to show a couple other features on navigating video, including a couple new things. All right. So I showed.
I'm sorry, I have a question, Jay.
Yeah.
I know what happened to us a couple times last year. Once, my managers or anyone's recording a video,
Mhm.
do they have to press save? Because I think it happened to us a couple times where, the match is done, the scoring is right, but we're looking at the video, but the video is not there.
Yes, I will. I will show that when I get to the iPad and show recording.
Okay, all right.
Okay. All right, so I showed that you can get to your video through looking at the event, diving into the event, looking at the event. Another way to get to your video is click on the roster, and if you click on a wrestler's name, you'll have all of their matches and all of their video here available to you just for that wrestler. The third way to find your matches and look at video is if you click on the matches tab, you'll notice that you have all of the matches that are in your account for this season will be listed in this matches tab. And then you can use these filters at the top to kind of narrow down and find the video that you're looking for. You could filter by just varsity matches, junior varsity, middle school, etc. You could pick just a specific event and look at that. You could pick a specific wrestler and look at that. But one new powerful feature in MatBoss that I want to demonstrate for you guys is you can also break the video down by scoring event. Okay. And I want to show you the power of this and how you can use it. So as an example, I'll take one wrestler. You wouldn't have to pick a wrestler, but in this instance, I'll pick this wrestler. And then, maybe this wrestler's come to me and says, "Hey coach, I want to work on my feet and I feel like I'm getting taken down a lot. Let's look at some how I'm getting taken down," right? So if you pick that wrestler and you said you picked the scoring event, and I came here and I said, "Show me all the video clips of where we're getting taken down." So I'm going to pick the T3 against. We're going to now break up the video into all the spots where this wrestler has gotten taken down. Okay. So now if you click into the first one, we're going to take you to the spot where this athlete is getting taken down. And you can watch that. To go to the next instance of that, up in the upper right corner of the player, you'll see next T3 against. So you can click on the next one and you'll get taken to the next spot where that athlete's getting taken down. And then you can go to the next one and look for trends in the video, etc. And you don't have to do this just for one wrestler. You could sort this by an event. So you could have a dual meet the night before and go, hey, we got turned a lot, guys. I'm gonna pick this event and then I'm gonna pick near fall against and look at all the how we're getting turned constantly. And just to go to the next one, click this next T3 against. It'll go across matches, across wrestlers, across events, and it's an easy way to quickly kind of dive in and look at the different video. That's a new feature for MatBoss this year, so I just wanted to pause and see if there's any questions on that.
Nothing in the chat.
Jerry, we can still print those out too for the kids.
Print what out?
Their their um their matches, the total matches, what they done,
Yeah.
takedowns, how many 2 and 4 against. I know
Yeah,
that
that's a
feature.
great segue on where I was going next.
Okay.
So on the left-hand side of MatBoss, you'll see a stats and reports. If you click on that, because you're scoring the matches while you're taking the video, all these stats are automatically compiled for you and available in the app. So if you click on stats and reports, there's multiple tabs here where we break your wrestlers down by different positions. So if you click on individual, that's a lot of things like number of matches, win, loss, winning percentage, falls for and against, all that kind of good stuff. But where it gets really interesting and powerful is we're breaking your wrestlers down by position. So if you click on the neutral tab here, you can see the number of times an athlete's been on their feet, how many takedowns they've gotten, how many takedowns against, takedown percentages for and against, the point differential on their feet, how many times they're getting the first takedown, etc. You can also look at how are they performing from on bottom, what's their getaway percentage, how often are they getting turned, all that kind of good stuff. Same on top. We also break scoring down by period. So you can see if you got athletes that are getting outscored in the first period a lot or getting outscored in the third period in overtime and conditioning's a problem, etc. Now, those are all like hardcore stats that you guys can spend time with and use to improve your wrestler's performance. You can always download that data into an Excel format up at the top where it says download to CSV. You could click that and download that and modify it however you want to. But we also have a lot of pre-built reports, and that's where Coach Morales was going. If at the top you instead of this team stats, you click on reports, we have a bunch of pre-built reports here that are available for you, and these can be printed out in paper format, etc. So an example of one of these is a lot of teams like to have a weekly leaderboard for the team. And so if they click on that, here you got a paper report that's ready to go of all the top 10 for the season in a number of different categories. And then you can just download that, print that off. Coach Morales, I think you were talking about you wanted to see an individual's match summary. So if you clicked on a match summary and you select one of these wrestlers, you'd have their match history here. And so maybe with some of these reports, you're printing these out, you have them in a folder and you bring them to seating meetings and things like that.
I like the one that you just said before.
The leaderboard?
Yeah, the leaderboard. Can you go back and I'm definitely going to put that in there because the kids like to talk. Oh yeah, I like that.
Oh yeah, coaches love to print this out and
Yeah.
motivate their kids by they want to get on the leaderboard for takedowns or pins or whatever. So you could print this out every week, and you could also do it by scorebook. So you could have a varsity leaderboard, a junior varsity leaderboard, etc. And then lastly, we have a section in here for school records.
I'm sorry,
So this,
Jay, if with that leaderboard, can I separate it by teams, like, varsity team, the JV team, like you said, and the girls team?
Yep, they would all be separate reports.
Right, there it
So
is. Okay, I got it.
we're up at the top here. You'd select the scorebook that you want to run the leaderboard for,
Got it. Thanks. Mhm.
and then you can run that for that each team. So definitely spend some time with these reports, figure out what reports you like, incorporate them into your coaching, etc. I'm going to quickly hit on a couple things here. School records. This is a spot where you guys can add all your school records, including wrestlers from the 70s, 80s, 90s, whatever, into here. All of this data is static right now and needs to be updated manually, but it's a good spot where you guys can add all your school records in here and be able to track that, know that it's stored, that it's safe, and then you can always export that into a report, print that report, put it into your year-end program, etc. All right. We made changes to the way logins work. We tried to make the login process significantly easier than it was in the past. So in the past in MatBoss, you had to go in and add every kid's email address. They had to get the email, click on it, create the login, and then they could get into the account. The problem with that was a lot of work for coaches and managers to add all those emails. Second problem was schools were blocking the emails coming in from MatBoss, so kids wouldn't always get them. So the way that we've changed this is when you click on logins on the left-hand side, you can now see all the coaches that can log into your account. You can see all the wrestlers that can log into your account, and you can see former wrestlers that have logins to your account. One note about former wrestlers is once an athlete's been made former, if they have a login, when they log in, they can only view their own matches. They can't view anything else in the account. So if a kid had a login and he graduated 5 years ago, when he logs in, he can only view his own matches. So if he's coaching down the road at one of your competitors, you don't have to worry about it because he or she can't get in and view other things and use his login to scout your team because as a former wrestler, he can only view their own matches and stats. The way that you invite an athlete or a coach to join your account is all you have to do this year now is grab this link at the bottom of the page, copy it, and then you can email it, put it on a team message board, text it. Once those athletes or coaches get that, they'll click on that link, create their own login, and then that login application will show up as a pending invite. So you'll have pending invites listed here. And then as a coach, all you have to do is click on it and approve them. And as soon as it's approved, then they can log in and get into the account.
Jeremy, can the coaches put under their coaches tab? Would it say you're a coach or a wrestler, right?
Yeah, because there's two tabs here. There's a
Okay.
coaches tab and a wrestlers tab.
Okay, yeah.
But when they click on, it's the same link for both. When they
All right.
fill out their application to the team, it'll ask them, are you a coach or an athlete?
Okay, yeah.
If that gets messed up, it's no big deal. All you have to do is click on edit and you can switch on whether or not they're a wrestler or a coach.
Nice.
And you can also, you can disable logins anytime you want from there also, just by clicking edit. Any questions on that? Okay, I know we're getting slightly short on time, so I'm going to switch over to the iPad and show recording and uploading. And then I can stay as long as needed to answer questions and keep chatting and show things and whatever. But I'll just be, because we're tight on time, I want to show us the app. All right, so let me, Eric, can you confirm that you can see my iPad screen?
I can.
Okay. All right, so I'm right now mirroring my iPad. So we're looking at this on my iPad right now. So as we talked about, you've created your schedule, you've created your roster. Now I'm on the iPad. iPad is synced to the internet. Anytime you want to make sure it's synced, if it's synced, it'll have the green check here and with the time that it's synced with the internet. If you ever want to force a sync, you can just hit these circle buttons here and it'll make sure that everything is refreshed and that you have the latest data. But now let's say your manager, coach has been like, all right, tonight we have this dual meet. I want you to go in there and start recording the matches. You click into the dual meet. There's no matches in here currently. And then you would just say add matches. You can add all matches at once, or you can add them one by one. So I could just add, right now I'll add like 5 matches. Those matches are going to show up as scheduled matches here. Okay. And you can see that we've tried to pre-populate based on the roster who the wrestlers are. This is a varsity meet. So the varsity 103 is this athlete. We've tried to pre-populate it. If that's incorrect, all you have to do is click on that name and you have your roster here where you can switch those names and save it. Okay. With the opposing wrestlers, right now there's no opposing rosters attached to this event. Okay. So if you want to have access, and as you update the opponents, you're updating the opposing roster, you need to attach that roster to this event. Now, if you import the event from Track Wrestling or USA Bracketing, we're going to try and auto attach that roster to that event. But the way that you can add rosters to the event is if you click on more at the top, there's this opposing rosters button. And now you could pick the state that you want to grab the team from. This is a Georgia account. So I could come in here and I could say, we're wrestling Altoona right now. Add that roster to the list, save it. And now Altoona is attached to this event. And now when I click on opponent, you can see Altoona is here and I have access to their roster. If this was a tournament event, not just a duel, and I'm like, hey, there's 5 other teams that are here, you could come in here and add additional teams that are part of the tournament. So you could come in here and add all these teams. I'll grab another one, Archer, Georgia. And now when I save that, if I click into the opponent, you would have all of the teams that are at this tournament here, and you could just grab wrestlers from the roster of the teams that are at the event. We've redesigned the way that this works this year to make that easier for you guys. It's a little bit in the past with MatBoss, all of the teams in the state would show up, not just the ones that are at the tournament. So now you can just add the ones that are at the tournament and only be dealing with those rosters.
So you kind of pick when you create the event, you say these are the teams that are in attendance.
Yep. Now, if you're importing it from Track Wrestling or USA Bracketing, and those teams were already assigned to those events in those systems, when you bring it in those, you'd click on that more opposing rosters, and those teams would already be added here at the bottom. But if they didn't come over or a team wasn't in Track Wrestling when you imported it and you needed to add them, you would just click on that opposing rosters, and then you could say like, okay, Athens is also at this tournament, add it, save it.
What are
And
the requirements to be able to do that import out of Track Wrestling or USA Wrestling?
there are no requirements.
So you don't have to have you don't have to have your own account or something with those event or with those services?
No. So even if you didn't have a Track Wrestling account and I never did the import of my roster and schedule there, when you click on this add opposing rosters, you still have access to all those opposing rosters to be able to pull in.
Cool.
Okay. All right, so let's go ahead and add an opposing roster. Let's say it was from Arabia. I have their roster here. I'm going to save that wrestler. So now I have the opponent there. With the names, you can modify the names before the match, during the match, or after the match. So don't get too stressed out if like the names aren't right and you're trying to record and whatever. It's no big deal. Can be updated at any time. So now we're ready to record. This 103 match is ready. All you would do is hit the camera icon to the right. You can see I'm on the call with you guys. I'm in the recording interface. We're ready to go. Your wrestler is always the buttons on the left-hand side. Your opponent is always the buttons on the right-hand side. If you're in a tournament and let's say your wrestler got the red ankle bands, all you have to do is hit the color switcher in the middle here. And now you're red. But your wrestler is always here on the left. Okay. So now let's start scoring. So now we would start the recording by hitting the red button. I know that we're filming because I can see the timer going. As a reminder, with MatBoss, you can start and stop the video as many times as you want, and we keep that video file together as one. So if there's a long blood time or wrestlers go out of bounds and you don't want to record all that, just stop it, but make sure you pick it back up again and start filming. And now you can just start scoring. So let's say we get a takedown. I hit the takedown 3. You can see after that, now the wrestlers are in a different position. We show the position of the wrestlers next to their name. So now we're on top, that wrestler's on bottom. Now let's say they get an escape. You can see the match is now 3-1. They get another takedown, 6, or we get another takedown, 6-1. Now let's say that they get a reversal. I'm gonna hit the reversal 2. So now the score's 6-3. Now the referee comes over. He's like, my mistake, my bad. I know I gave it a reversal, but it's actually a 1. Now you're like, oh no, I already marked the reversal. No big deal. Easy to fix. All you have to do is click on the X next to the R2 in the timeline to delete that. And now we're back to 6-1 and we've changed the position of the wrestlers. And now I can just mark the escape. And now we're back ready. Everything's fixed.
Hey, Jeremy, I know you just said something. Um, any way we can put some blood time or injury time in the
No.
scoring somewhere? No.
No, we don't keep track because MatBoss is never tied in with the actual match time. We don't track any of that blood time, etc. We know track wrestling or who whatever software is being
Yeah,
used now.
track has that feature.
Yeah, we've gone back and forth on it. We've just
Mhm.
made a decision right now that we don't think it's important in terms of something that we should track in
Mhm.
MatBoss.
All right, I agree. All right.
Okay. So now at the end of the period, you hit this plus button next to the period. It's going to ask choice. So let's say we defer, they take bottom. Now we're ready to start scoring for period 2, keep scoring, etc. Period 3, do the same thing. Now it's our choice, bottom, and we just keep going on like that. MatBoss knows what the dual score should be or how many team points should be awarded based on this score right here. So if the match was over, all you have to do is click save and done in the upper right. And then that will save the match and save the video and the scoring and everything. The only time you have to do something special is if one of the sides got a pin or there was an injury default or something like that. So let's say in this match, we actually got the pin. So we get a reversal. Now we're on top and now we get a fall. So on the side that got the pin, you would click this sudden victory and mark fall. You can change because this time won't represent the actual fall time. You could come and update the actual fall time, click save, and now click save and done. And now I've saved that match. And now you can see a couple things here. One is the match is now in completed matches. The team score is now 6-0 at the top. You can see the result. We won by fall at 252. And I can also see that this video is on this iPad that it hasn't been uploaded to MatBoss's cloud environment because it's a gray cloud with the arrow pointing up. Okay. But you can still watch it off of the iPad at this point, and you could go and edit the scoring, etc. if you needed to fix something. One, since there's so many managers on this call, one thing I want to show that managers have been doing that creates a little bit of an issue is, let's say I'm recording the match here and I'm like, oh, coach told me to make sure that I get the opposing wrestlers added to these matches, but uh I don't know who that is. So I'm gonna look at track wrestling in between periods. So they'll be filming and then they'll be like, I'm gonna try and help coach out and get that. So they'll be like, all right, it's the end of the period. We take bottom. Okay, now before they start wrestling again, I'm gonna go to track wrestling and try and find out who that wrestler was. And they'll minimize the app like this from the recording screen. What you'll notice happen there is that we stop the recording at that point and we'll immediately save the match at wherever the app was backgrounded at that point. So that's why I'm seeing this win decision 3-0 and we're like, oh, like I wasn't done recording. The reason it did that is because I was on the recording interface and then I backgrounded the app. So we're going to save the video at that time and go off. So that's what I'm saying. If you don't have the opposing wrestler name, that's fine. Just record the rest of the match and then go in and update that later. Any questions on that? Okay. To mark a forfeit, let's say that we're forfeiting at 118. I'm going to click on my wrestler's name and I'm going to mark forfeit and then I'm going to save the match. Immediately, that's going to go to a completed match. It's a stats only match. There's no video tied to it. And now you can see we've marked that as a forfeit in that way. If the opponent is forfeiting, you would click on the opponent name and then you would select that toggle for forfeit match and save that. And then obviously you can do that for a double forfeit also. You can run MatBoss at the tournaments, not connected to Wi-Fi. The one other thing that's a change this year for MatBoss is, and I want the managers to listen to this one because I think they'll like it, is in the past, when you'd create these scheduled matches, let's say it's a tournament, and you're trying to get all the first round matches built out, you had to build those matches on every single device for them to show up. Now with MatBoss, the way it works is if the devices are connected to the internet, when you build these scheduled matches and those other devices sync, those scheduled matches are going to go to the other devices. So you would only have to build like those first round matches on one device. And then if the other devices connect to the internet and sync, all those scheduled matches will show up on those devices also. Okay, so let's say now the dual meet's over. You get back to good Wi-Fi, you get back to the school, you get back to home. You'll see on here that there's there's the video that you need to upload is on this video uploads tab. So it says there's 3 matches that I need to upload. So get connected to good Wi-Fi, click on video upload, and then click the upload all videos at the top. And now MatBoss is going to go match by match, uploading every video from your iPad into our cloud environment. Once we know we have the video safely, we're going to remove the video from your device to keep the storage clear on it. So you don't have to sit and try and manage the storage, etc. Once you upload, it'll be safe with us and we're going to take it off of your device. Get yourselves into a pattern where you're doing this upload after each event. So don't do like 3 dual meets, then a big tournament, and you're like, oh man, we haven't uploaded, because what we don't want to happen is your iPad starts getting full and you don't have any availability, any storage left on the device. All right, I went through a lot and I know we're past time, so I'm just going to pause for a second and I can, like I said, I can stay and answer questions. I can show other features and things like that. But let's just open it up for Q&A and see what questions folks have. No question is a bad question. You guys, ask whatever you need. Or if you want me to show something again, I'm happy to do that.
So here in Montana, not a lot of schools are running MatBoss. I expect that to increase. You probably know better than I do if that's the case. And so like you're at a dual meet, they may have 2 wrestlers at every weight. We don't know who they're going to send out.
Yep.
Can you, rather than try and get that in there quickly, I mean, can you leave that as other wrestler, fill that in later?
Oh, 100%. Yeah.
Okay.
Just leave it till other wrestler or unknown. It would be unknown. Record the match, score it. I mean, obviously you know who your wrestler is. And then once you get back, back to the school or during the week as you're reviewing these matches, you can just quickly like add the opponent at that point. No problem at all.
Okay.
Yeah.
Cool. Thank you.
Yeah, I would rather you did that instead of managers trying to do it mid-match and minimizing the video and then stopping the video and then I'll have fragments of video and things like that. What else? Good question. Thank you. What else can I answer or show?
I just want to make sure, Jay, once they finish recording, it saves the video automatically, right?
It does, yeah. But there's a couple things that happen. So do you see I'm on this video interface right now?
Yeah.
Okay. If managers don't press the red button and start recording and they just start scoring, they're going to get an error message like this. So I'm just going to hit a takedown here. I'm not recording. You see that pop up that came up? Just a reminder, tap on the record button if you'd like video for this match. So sometimes what managers will do is they'll go, yeah, I get it. They'll hit OK, and then they still won't hit the red button. And you can see the video is not running because there's no timer going. So then they'll continue scoring. They're not getting error messages anymore. And then they'll click save and done. And now when you look at this match, it's going to look like this.
Oh man.
A check mark with just there's no video here.
All right.
Right? So what they need to do is, let's say they made that mistake, and I make the mistake all the time, even when I'm playing in the app. I'll hit like this. Oh, it's not. So then make sure okay, now I'm recording and now I can start scoring, etc.
All right.
Does that make sense?
Definitely. But it will save though if you press record, right? If they,
No. Well, so
they have to press save.
You have to hit save and done in the upper right.
Save and they have to do that. Okay.
Yeah. So I'm recording it. I'm recording right now. Match is over. All you have to do is hit save and done in the upper right. It'll say, you want to save this match? Yes.
So it'll pop up saying to save it before you leave to the next match?
Well, the only way to get out of the match, let me build another scheduled match here quick at 150. All right, so what you're saying is you're recording like this, right? Now I'm done. Let's say the match is over.
Right.
I stop the recording. The only way I can get off of this page is either hit cancel in the upper left, which obviously wouldn't save the video, save the stats, or I can click save and done in the upper right. That's the only way I can get off of this, right? So what they should do is click save and done. Are you sure you want to
Yeah,
save
that
this?
will pop up right there. That little pop up will come up and say save.
It will. Yeah.
All right. All right. Okay.
Yeah. Now, and again, you can see now I have two videos with this gray cloud. That means the video's on the iPad. It hasn't been uploaded yet. These two videos are in our cloud environment, which is why they have the green cloud. What other questions do you guys have? If you need to adjust a team score in a dual meet, up at the more at the top of the event, there's this adjust team point section. And so then you could be like, adjust team point for us for unsportsmanlike conduct. We over celebrated when we won at 103, save. And now you can see the team score has been updated. And there's a statement at the top that says our team lost a team point for unsportsmanlike conduct.
Sorry, Jay, could you go back? I just missed that.
Yeah. I'm in a dual meet. At the top, there's a more. If I click on that, I have a bunch of options on things that I can do here. I want to click on the adjust team point. And then you can fill out whatever the team point adjustment is.
Thank you.
Yeah. What else can I show? If you have too many scheduled matches and you're like, man, this is all cluttered and we didn't even film some of these matches.
What about
and you
double? What about double? You know, one of my managers recorded the same match, and all of a sudden it's downloaded, and I'm like, oh my God, I got two matches of Jeremy here, the same match.
Then I would go into that match like this, and I would make one of them an exhibition match so the stats aren't counted.
Okay, I got it.
Yeah.
Now we can, well, yeah. So once we're done with the do me, we just press exhibition, and then it'll be part of that whole.
Yeah, if you record a match that's an exhibition match, maybe you threw some extra matches in at the end of the duel. When you mark those matches as exhibition, they won't count towards the team score, and those stats won't count for the wrestler in their stats.
All right, but it will be on the match. Let's say we're wrestling, New York. It'll be on the same scorebook, right? Yep. All right.
Yeah, they'll be in this event. You could go watch them.
Yeah, that's right.
Yeah, good questions, you guys. Thank you. What else can I show or talk about? Anything else coming in the chat, Eric?
No. We just had a question about, is there a way that managers can watch this particular training if they weren't able to attend? And I responded just saying that we'll publish this one particularly tomorrow. It'll be on the training page on the website.
Awesome. Cool. Well, I don't need to keep you guys any later. I can obviously stay for anything. But the biggest thing I want to say is thank you guys for being customers. We take your feedback seriously. We try and improve every year. So definitely send us your feedback. We want this to remain super powerful for you guys. And we're always here to help. We want to provide exceptional customer support. So if you're struggling with anything, send us a support ticket or call us, get a hold of us. I never want anybody sitting there feeling like, hey, I got this technology. I don't know what to do. I'm stuck. We're having problems. Call us because we want to help. You'll always get a hold of us. We'll always respond back. You can always talk to us. So thank you guys for being customers. Really the best of luck this season. We're rooting for you guys, and definitely use these tools that I showed today to improve your wrestlers' performance throughout the season.
Yeah.